Hey everybody, I'm Justin with AmericanMuscle.com, and this is my detailed review and install of the Gibson 3-inch single-exit full stainless steel catback exhaust system, available for your 2015 and newer 3.5-liter EcoBoost powered Super Crew F150, equipped with a 5.5-foot bed. In this review, I'm going to break down a few things you guys want to hear about when shopping for an aftermarket exhaust system. We're going to talk about the sound profile here with the Gibson 3-inch single system. We're going to break down the materials and construction, and finally we'll give you a quick little walkthrough of the install. And for all Super Crew owners out there, with a 5.5-foot bed, you're looking at a simple bolt-on modification here. No cutting, no permanent modification needed, so we'll call it 1 out of 3 wrenches on the difficulty meter, with a little bit more detail coming up later on. So the Gibson that we have in this video is going to appeal to the EcoBoost owners out there looking for a very affordable full stainless steel system that will provide a modest increase in tone over your factory exhaust, but more importantly, it's going to be for the owners out there looking to keep the price point right around that $500 mark, which at the time of this video is going to put it right in line with the system from Pipes and also the XP series from MBRP. Now, maybe some of you guys are familiar with Gibson, maybe some of you aren't, but if not, here's what you need to know. They're typically going to be one of the more affordable options in the world of aftermarket exhaust systems for both your Mustang and F150 alike, and in my experience, their stuff is built very well despite the low price, sounds pretty good, and still has some pretty solid materials overall. But let's jump right into the sound here, because this is an exhaust video after all, and you guys heard the sound clips, but in my opinion, this thing produced a very enjoyable tone overall. A nice deep tone, and certainly that wasn't over the top. Listen, a lot of us EcoBoost owners out there, we really don't want to advertise that turbo V6 tone, and for good reason, and the Gibson that we have here will certainly help you do that. So, breaking out my wake to neighbor scale, with 1 essentially being a factory exhaust system, this thing's coming in at a strong 2 out of 5 on my 1 to 5 or 1 to wake to neighbor scale. Again, yes, you can tell it isn't stock, but at the same time, it's certainly not going to get on your nerves. Interior noise is minimal at best. But let's talk about how this system kind of takes its shape or gets its sound, and it all comes courtesy of the Superflow SFT muffler here from Gibson, something that they use with a lot of their systems. This thing features a combination of both baffles and chambers, so it's going to help keep that tone in check like we just talked about, but at the same time, it's also going to help increase your volume efficiency, which basically keeps the exhaust moving through the muffler and through the system. More important to point out here, guys, this thing doesn't utilize any internal packing, which can sometimes burn out, changing the tone over the years. But with the sound covered, let's switch our focus over to the construction and materials here with the Gibson system. And again, guys, this is going to be a very affordable full stainless system, which does have its perks. Now, it is 409 grade stainless to be exact, which isn't the best material out there, granted, but it's going to be far better than aluminized steel when it comes to keeping that corrosion at bay over the years. Everything here is made in the US, as are all Gibson systems, and because of that stainless build, it is backed by a limited lifetime warranty. But taking the construction a step further, this system is going to be very simple overall. You're looking at 3-inch mandrel bent tubing throughout, all exiting out the rather large 4-inch polished tip in the factory location. And that's a big thing to point out here, guys. This essentially is going to be a very similar look to your factory exhaust system. Definitely a plus for those of you out there who prefer the more stock or OE look, as opposed to the more modified dual split exit systems or things like that. However, with that said, if you did want a more modified look or maybe a more aggressive looking system, Gibson does offer a dual exit system on the site in both aluminized steel and full stainless here. They're pretty much going to sound identical to the system we have in this video, because they're both going to incorporate that same SFT Superflow series muffler. However, more material usually means more dough, and that certainly is the case if you're checking out that dual exit system. But let's quickly talk about the install here, guys, and as promised at the very top of this video, if you have a Super Crew F150 with a 5.5-foot bed, you're looking at a very straightforward install. So 1 out of 3 wrenches on the difficulty meter, maybe an hour or 2 before you're making some noise in the garage or driveway. Obviously, you know to drop that factory system out of the way first before getting started using your socket set. Maybe an extra set of hands wouldn't be a bad idea here, as that factory catback can be a little big, can be a little bulky, and tough to move around by yourself. Once that is out of the way, simply get to work installing the Gibson in reverse order. I always recommend starting from front to back, get the entire system on the truck, save your final tighten up to the very end, and you should be good to go. Well, guys, if you're looking for a $500 system that is going to provide you with that full stainless steel construction, I think you're going to enjoy the Gibson, and here's why. The tone is pretty enjoyable without being over the top. The material and build quality is certainly worthy of the new F150, and ultimately you have that lifetime warranty on your side for a little peace of mind. That is my review of the Gibson single exit 3-inch system, which you can get right here at AmericanMuscle.com.